As consumer demands changes and technology keeps on evolving and improving, so does it dictate down to automakers and manufacturers to keep up with the pace. And so is synonymous with the car parked next to me today. This, boys and girls, moms and dads, is the 2022 Subaru Outback. Subaru Legacy Outback, because it's still based on the Subaru Legacy. This came into existence being a sixth generation from the year 2021 for the Japanese market, even across the export market, even though in the American market they got it quite earlier from 2019. So now today we want to figure out what are the most interesting things about this car, what are the technologically advancements that I've made on this car, and what makes this car unique and special, especially if you compare it against its closer brother, the Subaru Forester. I actually believe that this car provides more value than a Forester. So without further ado, let's get into this epic special review of the 2022 Subaru Legacy Outback. Of course, this review has been made possible. Special thanks to Belafid Auto. They have this special unit, 2022 Subaru Outback, and they have other options in case you're looking for any other Subaru, be it a Forester. In fact, newer generation of these as well are on the way. So you can rush there, tafuta mtu anaitwa Martin, and book yourself a newly launched product for our market, not the world, because sisi tunakujanga nyuma, okay? And at this point again, the road to 200,000 subs is still on, and we are killing it right now. We are closing into 197,000 subscribers. And if you're here and you haven't subscribed, please, I am requesting you, I am borrowing you. Let me use English over there across the border. Please hit that subscription button, leave me a comment, leave me a like, because if you do these three things, trust me, this video will get to as many people as possible and you'll get us closer to the 200,000 subscription mark. So let's get into this special, interesting review, because I can't wait to tell you more about this car. Now, one thing that you'll clearly notice if you look at the sixth generation of the Subaru Outback is it's still an Outback. Through and through, like the design language, the design look, it's still that of the normal Outback that we're used to. However, there are a few significant changes that you will get if you're going to buy this car. Improvements, because time has moved, technology has moved as well, and the automakers have no choice than to adapt. And one of them is, of course, starting with the headlights. So what you get here are adaptive LED headlights with a daylight running strip that looks awesome. When I say adaptive, it means if you steer left, the headlights go left with you. If you steer right, the headlights go right with you as well. So very awesome. And this came in from 2021. So if you bought this car between 2021 and below, you won't get it. This car was officially launched to the market in 2019, but we got it for the export market from Japan from 2021. So that is something that you need to be clear about. Other markets got it slightly earlier, like the US market. Now coming down, talking about advancement again, is now the fog lights we had before. They had your halogen bulbs, kawaida, but right now we've upgraded to full LED with several tips. There are 6 tips which look very bright and they illuminate ahead of you when you drive this car quite awesomely. Now, in terms of technology, we are still keeping on. We have an improved version of the Subaru EyeSight, which is again complemented by a front-facing camera. This car has 360-degree camera approach across the entire car, the rear, the side mirrors, and this front-facing one. However, this is an option. There are those that do not come with this. You'll find one that has this at the rear for reverse, but the side ones, not many. So this again is optional. But most significantly, one thing has really changed. One thing that has really changed on this car is, of course, the ground clearance. And to bring out that, I'll have to go to the side profile, because here again is where we have a bit of subtle changes and improvements. One of them being that this car is slightly wider, it's slightly longer. But one interesting thing I love is the fact that they've kept their roof slightly lower. And why is this important? Unaona hata mimi ni mtu niko 6'2" but nashika roof. It is important because it becomes easier for you to load your cargo or strap on your cargo on this. Unlike if you had the Subaru Forester, for instance, or those other huge SUVs. One aspect of the Outback is it tries to mimic an SUV, at the same time give you a car-like feel. And we'll talk about that once we get in the interior and how this car drives. I know by having this roof slightly lower, you might think that we've compromised on the ground clearance. Ati gari sasa iko chini. No, my friend. Now, previously, we had 8.79 inches of ground clearance on the 5th gen, but this one here, we have 9.5 inches of ground clearance. To make it more easy for you to understand, our standard bumps zinakuanga 6.7 inches. Hizo za kura, ikiwa watengenezi moja inakaa kama kaburi, inakuanga 6.7. So having 9.5 inches, bruh, this is Prado territory. This is proper SUV territory. Like, this is more better than what you'll get on a Porsche Cayenne, unless it has air suspension and you can adjust and change how it feels and how it looks in terms of ground clearance. Let's talk about suspension. Easy, subtle, but before I talk about suspension, of course, those blacked out wheel arches to make sure they protect your body in case you're going for an off-road terrain or challenge, and you also have that on this other side as well. Now, when it comes to the wheels and the suspension, of course at the rear, being a proper crossover SUV station wagon thingy, because this car has like 2 classifications. You can call it a station wagon, you can call it an SUV, you can call it a crossover SUV, whatever you choose to. It actually does all that perfectly well. So you have size 18 wheels with very nice graded alloys at the rear, at the front as well. Then you have independent multi-link suspension at the rear. Then you have your McPherson struts at the front, which make this car quite easy to live and maintain, okay? Very easy and simple. And something else, just make sure that this rugged look, this rugged style is still kept on the Outback. Of course, you also have this blacked out side skirts, just make this car look aggressive, and that is double up again on the roof as well. You have some blacked out appendages, just make sure that you get that rugged look. And you remember I told you about technology, and so something else that you will clearly see obviously is, away from having this car LED side blink or this side mirror, we are missing the camera. Yeah, on this side you don't have the camera, but on the other side you actually do have a camera. So you have one camera at the front, one camera on that side for your blind spot assist or blind driving assist, and then you also have another camera at the rear. But this side, because you are the driver, this should be your superior side, you don't get a camera here. So we can clearly say we do not have 360 degrees camera on this, but we have a front, that side, and the other side. And even the cameras inside, when we check the camera settings, you won't find the 360 degree approach. Hapo tuko sawa? Now come to the rear, because this is where things get a bit interesting. Again, the same look you'll get on Outback. Nothing much has been changed, but you get what you call a combined rear taillight. Combined means you get an LED strip, but you still get your tungsten bulb, especially on this side indicator. So you still have a bulb here, but hizi ingine ni LED. But what you get here is a refreshed rear, just revamped to make it more appealing and more superior in comparison to what you had in the previous gen. Now, angalia to ground clearance, my friend. Wait! Watu wa Prado, look at that. Now, talking about technology again, because this is a technologically advanced car. There are so many things that have been improved in this car, starting with the rear tailgate. Right now, you have an electronic tailgate. When it comes to the boot space, initially on the former generation, the 5th generation, we had 1078 liters of practical boot space. Bro, hiyo ni kubwa! But now here, it has been improved by 42 liters. So what you get here is 1,117 liters of practical boot space. And that is courtesy of having a longer car and slightly wider car. You know, it's like the Outback is growing in size. Few things that are interesting. Now, this flap here has a 2-stage setup. So one of the stage setup is you can actually pull it because of your cargo. Let me pull it here. You can put it on the lower side. That is the higher side actually. Yeah, that is the lower side. Then the other one is now you can allow it to flow all the way to that stage in case you're carrying a longer luggage and unataka more space. That is one thing. Number 2, let me remove it because I need to show you so many interesting things. Number 2 is you can actually recline or release your seats using these levers here, and they can lay flat. And this one again, you can actually remove it. Let me remove it so that we get to see. Look at that. Flat. Very practical. Sasa ukilalisha hii unapata almost 2,000 liters of practical boot space, which is huge. In pickup, my friend. These are pickup, okay? Now, I know the question you guys are asking is, what else do I get? Now, underneath here, you have a space for a full spare wheel. Even though this one does not come with it, but tukitoa hii, you know, you can actually fit in a full spare wheel. But being a Japanese spec, you get your compressor and liquid, just in case your tire goes flat. Not adapted for our environment and our climate, but that's what you get. Sawa. But I recommend, if you're buying this car, please buy yourself a full spare wheel, weka hapo chini, and you're good to go. Now that we are done with this, can we talk about the engine options and what you find under the hood, and why I believe and think the biggest problem that you guys have had anytime you think about buying an Outback has been fuel economy and power, and also the transmission. Can it handle the terrain? Can it handle the abuse? Tuangalie gari pale mbele, because this is not your kawaida Outback. Subaru are bringing up or leveling up in terms of the game. So one of the biggest complaints that people had when it comes to buying the Outback was, of course, the engine options. The previous gen, you only had a few engine options. If you're buying from the local market, EJ25, that was the common one you could get. But if you're buying from the Japanese market or you're importing from other countries, you'll get with an FB25, or you get with the flat 6, the one that comes with a flat 6, which the 3.6, which is not common, and we never got those ones to come to Kenya, okay? But now on this new gen, 6th gen, there are a few things that Subaru have done for us, the export market. I'm talking about Japan, I'm talking about South Africa and Kenya as well. So let's watch tuanze nyumbani, because charity begins at home. So if you're buying this car from the local market, be it Kenya, 0 mileage, or you're getting from South Africa, you're lucky to get it with 2 engine options. Engine number 1, the FB25, 2,500cc, naturally aspirated. And the second engine will be the 2,400 turbocharged petrol engine, which is the most powerful, pushing close to 260 horses. Hapo tuko sawa? So if you're buying from Kenya and you're buying from South Africa, those are the 2 engine options. But commonly, we bring our cars from Japan. So what do we get in Japan? So in Japan, we get the FB25, 2,500cc, naturally aspirated, and then we get an exclusive turbocharged engine, which is what we have under the hood of this 2022 Subaru Outback. So what do we have here? We have what we call the CB18, 1800cc turbocharged petrol engine, giving you 175 horses and 300 Newton meters of torque. And you can access that torque as low as 1,600 RPM. So these are very torquey engine. Kwa leo nasema Subaru Outback haina nguvu, sijui haiendi, you know, Subaru has sat down and said, we're going to give you an option. And what more improvements do we get by getting this engine? One of them is fuel economy, because that has been the second complaint. The FB25, the EJ25, even the 2,400cc turbocharged petrol engine is not very fuel economical. The best you can do in terms of numbers is 12, maybe 13, if things are kind with you. But with this engine, you get upwards of 16 kilometers on a liter, which is very, very beautiful and awesome, okay? But one thing that you might need to consider while buying this engine is the fact that this is a direct injection engine, meaning carbon buildup is quite rampant. So what would I recommend? Kunywa mafuta mzuri, especially, you know, premium fuel like Shell V-Power. It will make sure that it cleans up your engine. It makes your engine run smoother and perfectly. And number 2, service consistently. Service this car appropriately within time using the right oil and the quality parts. Na kama hauna parts, namba iko hapo chini. Give me a call. I'll ship you in all the parts that you need to make sure that this car runs in the best way possible. Now, paired with this engine is a set of transmissions, depending with where you are buying this car from. So if you're buying it from Japan, like this one here, I see it's paired to the TR580, which is the transmission from Subaru that doesn't handle a lot of torque. It's more geared towards fuel economy and humble driving. However, you can also get this car, this engine, combined to the TRS690, which is the transmission that can handle upwards of 400 Newton meters of torque. But this one here, it's capped at 250, even though this engine is putting out 300 Newton meters of torque. So I don't know the rationale around Subaru pairing this engine to that transmission, but that's what you get as a setup, which loosely translates to, if you consistently push this car like hard, your transmission lazima inaweza chemka. So what I would recommend is, if you plan to do aggressive driving, off-road driving, then you might need to have an auxiliary cooling to assist the normal cooling system that you get on that transmission. So without further ado, let's check out the interior and then drive this car and see how awesome, how special, how epic is the new platform of the CB18 turbocharged compared to the FB25, you know, the FA24, because that is the 2,400 turbocharged petrol engine. But hey, funny enough, CB18, FA24, I don't know. Tell me, why not FA18? Hiyo ni mtihani, niambieni hapa kwa comments. Honestly, this is one of the reasons why I feel this car is suited more for people who are looking for space, people who are looking for a family adventure car. This should be it. Sijui mbona mnanunua Forester. And why am I saying so? Look at this legroom. Hapa hii kiti ni Mr. Waigera ameiweka hapa. He is a very tall guy, okay? So I get very good legroom even though it is at the highest point of anchor. And look at my headroom. It's also quite awesome. You thought that this roof, even though it's lower, itanipatia headroom bar. Look at that. That's quite good. And I'm 6'2". I keep on reminding you. Sawa sawa. Very awesome. Very good. Now, in terms of build quality, of course, this one comes with cloth interior. And the cloth interior is also complemented on the door. So you get a bit of a cloth patching here. And this will change depending whether this car has leather. Because leather, again, you'll get leather here. But you get soft leather on the top. And then you could on a very hard plastic to make sure it keeps on to the, routine name of having a ruggedness aspect in the Outback, even in the interior. Hapo tuko sawa. Now, in case you're planning to drive around with your family, so what options do you get? Number one, you can actually recline these seats. Yeah, I saw that. Where do I get the lever? The lever is here. So you press this up, this seat can actually move around 3 inches. See that? See that? So you can recline. Let me do it on this side so you guys can see. There's a caliver here, so I can do that. Yeah, more comfortable. Then I pull that caliver. The only beef I have is the location of the caliver is lazima ukunje mkono. You have to twist your hand. So if you're a tall guy, you might need to do like this and then sit. Now, when it comes to family, you have a 3 set of ISOFIX points. So set number 1 is right here. Set number 2 is you combine this for the rear, if in case you want to put the child seat here, so you can actually mount it. And the way they've done it is, once you remove this, you have a mounting point here, and then you combine it with this mounting point on this side. So ni hii na hii, then you put your child seat here, which is epic. I haven't seen that on most cars. Beautiful, awesome. Then you have your drop-down armrest with 2 cup holders, which is good. It doesn't stop there. You have another mounting set here for your child seat, which is good. And then luxury options in case you're going for long hauls, long trips, heated seats both for the passenger and this passenger as well. Then you have 2 charging ports, 2.1 amperes, to make sure that your phone is always juiced up, because this car wants you to go for an adventure. Let's check out the front, because hapo mbele, that's where we have a lot of changes, a lot of improvements in comparison to the previous gen. So one of the biggest change that you will get instantly you sit in this car, of course, is the screen. It looks like the Tesla style screen. Ama kama umeendesha Volvo XC60, XC90, that's what you get here. And the good thing is, there are so many things that have been moved from the buttons we had here. They have been integrated into this screen. And this screen is Apple CarPlay enabled, Android Auto. Na iko na settings mzuri. In fact, they have made it possible for you even to save your service records. It gives you a lot of things. It activates the X mode. Nakumbuka X mode. And I'll talk about X mode later on, because it's a very important thing for you to know in case you're planning to buy yourself a Subaru. But that's what you get, a very easy, interesting screen, and just infotainment screen. This is 11.6 inches. Now, you remember we talked about the steering active front headlights. You can actually activate and deactivate them here. So, I like a car that gives me options and power to change things, which is quite dope. Now, driver assistance features, because these are very important if you're buying a Subaru, courtesy of the eyesight. And I told you this eyesight technology is also improved to make sure that your safety is perfect. So you have your driver monitoring system, you have your rear collision mitigation system, you have your lane departure warning and prevention. There is a buzzer, and you can turn it on and off. And then you have your emergency lane keep assist. And you have your pre-collision braking. Pre-collision braking ni kama, mnajua eyesight. We tried it with Mbugua sometimes back. So it was a Subaru driving towards Mbugua, and Mbugua was crossing the road, and this car could actually stop itself. Now, this has been dialed up a notch higher. Not only can it stop going in front, it can also stop going behind. Meaning, at reverse, you cannot knock somebody, because this car can actually brake itself to protect that rear passenger. A newly redesigned steering wheel which is very nice, and I'll talk about what you get here. So you get here your normal cruise control features and your adjustment driving modes from Sport Intelligent to Sport Sharp. Then you have your heated steering here. Now these are telescopic, means it has manually, you can pull it towards you and you can also tilt. So it has tilt telescopic steering wheel, which is very nice. The leather is quite premium. And then on this side, you control the infotainment system. So volume, source, that means the more that your infotainment system is, which is very good and awesome. Now your heated seats are right here. So you can do your heated seats here, both for the passenger, the driver. There are so many settings you can adjust here. Like everything that you used to have on a Subaru that had buttons now has been transferred to this infotainment screen, which to me is good. The only thing that you get as buttons now is you can increase the heat and reduce the heat as well. And then you can defrost the front and the rear. Now those are physical buttons. Then you have your volume and you can tune. You can tune. And the sound system is top notch, fantastic. Okay. You can store there your shades. You have storage compartment here. You can put your phone here. Then you can also store extra here. Then you have 2 cup holders and you can store your phone here, even though, that phone is long. So it fits. That's good. I did not expect that. But you get it, okay? Then you have your glove compartment here, which is quite sizable and huge enough for your cargo. Then you have an extra storage here in case you are carrying mtu a lift. Anaweza weka simu hapo kidogo. Then you have your piano black. Very good quality material here. It's plastic at the top, but you have leather paddings here, which just make this car premium. Now on the door, again, being a cloth interior, you get cloth paddings on the door to complement this cloth interior. But if you get this car with leather, you understand that this door will also have leather paddings. Look at that seat. It's very beautiful, very awesome. It tucks you in quite well. Even for a huge person, it's quite comfortable. It's a huge car. But something unique about this is this car makes you feel like you're driving a normal car and not an SUV. And that to me is one of the greatest score point of buying an Outback over a Forester. Because the Forester, utakuwa umekaa kama kitimoto namna hii. But this one here, you sit like you're driving a car. And that is what Subaru was going for when they actually designed this Outback. Because they want you to mimic the utility of the Forester, but keep the car-like feel. Now, finally, because I closed this and we go drive this car on the road with Mbugua, Helge can give you his sentiments around what he thinks and what he feels about this car. There's something here that we've just noticed. Let me go back. It's called X Mode. Now, X Mode is an aggressive feature that you have on any Outback or Forester that gives you the power authority to challenge or to go against. Now this one has your normal kawaida X Mode. The X Mode you'll get on the basic trim of this car. Talking about trims, you can only get this car with 2 trims from Japan. So you get it in a limited trim and then you get the X Brake. If you bought the X Brake, it has what we call the dual X Mode, meaning you can dial further the X Mode feature to help you tackle different terrains. So what does X Mode do? It tunes your response on the throttle to make sure you don't slip your wheels. It tunes the transmission to deliver power perfectly, and even the all-wheel drive system that is symmetrical that we have on this car. So there are so many changes that happen to just make sure that you get limited slip and drive this car nicely in places like snow, mud. So this car can crawl nicely and get you out of those challenging situations. If you get the X Brake, you get with a dual X Mode, which is more aggressive, more dialed up to make sure that you do those things more effectively, more efficiently, and better. Can you just drive this car? Because the only thing I'm waiting for is to drive this car and see whether the CB18 has changed anything about the Outback. And welcome to the driving experience of the 2022 Subaru Outback, Legacy Outback.
I'm driving with the boys.
My friend, leo tumerudisha full squad. You're driving with the boys. On my left niko na Mr. Richard Mbugua. Pale nyuma niko na kameramani mwenyewe.
Najua tu aliteta ati jamani niliingia nyasi. Nikaamua hata nirudi officially.
Yes.
Werudi.
Backbencher na ni Outback.
Ni ya Mambaro.
Kama tumekushika tumekuweka huko nyuma.
Hii tu ndo mgeniteka nayo. Utatoshea. Baya.
So now, me I have some few things I want to put out. Mimi nimeendesha Outback mingi sana. Hata kuna moja tuko nayo pale. Wacha niongee.
Hata niongee.
My friend, this is the smoothest Outback Mini-Shy drive. Like smooth, proper smooth. Tune your suspension, top notch. Build quality, interior sound cushioning, top notch. Technology, top notch. Ai, hapa Subaru alipika.
Pia mimi hapa as a passenger. Passenger princess. It's really comfortable. I also enjoying the ride. The same thing that you're feeling.
Yes.
I'm also feeling it.
Sio?
Yeah, it's something else.
Hapo nyuma cameraman.
Hapa kwa comfortable bana. Inaona hadi inaweza teka madems. Lazima ununue WRX.
Hii unajua inabeba madem machua. Wale watu wanataka vitu serious. Hii ndio ukitaka bibi sasa unachukua hii Mavo. Hizo vitu tunaongelea hizo ndio vitu za kutafuta madem.
This day baby. As we do friends with benefits.
Sawa we see you.
Lakini tumenishangaza. Iko so high lakini
ndani ufeel kama uko high. Exactly. Ndio hiyo tulikuwa nikishow say the car like feel ndio unapata kwa hii gari. Hiyo ndio difference nyingine kubwa na Forester.
On the Forester.
Because ukikaa na Forester Wegera unakaa kama uko juu, kama uko kwa station wako.
Una feel kabisa.
Yes. But hii inakupatia nje uko juu, kila kitu uko juu, but ndani inakaa kama umekaa ndani S4.
You just can't feel that feeling.
Yeah, it's just a car, it's a normal sedan ndani.
Ndio tunaambiwa angalia personality.
Yes.
Angalia look.
Usiangalia sura.
Niko na ufala. So kuna few things mimi zimenibamba. Kwa mfano kama kwa driver hapa niko na digital instrument cluster. Fit is nafikiri 12.3 inches. Kwa very bright na yona clearly. Unaweza change settings. Kama sasa hapa katikati nimeweka maps. Kwa kando na check fuel economy.
Maps za huko zinafanya.
Maps za huko zinafanya.
You also have the other
RPM nini kama kando, yes. Alafu speed iko pande hii. Sasa huko unaona kilometers per hour.
Do you prefer this or do you still prefer the analog?
No, me I'm a technological sucker.
Hata mimi digital ndo inakaa.
And the fact that naweza change vitu mob, niziweke vitu kadhaa hapo Wegera iko fiti.
Najua unalipa 5.5. For me unalipa tu juu ya mataa na luku.
Yes.
Lazima take.
For me I think this cluster, I love it, but to be honest I think I'm still stuck in the past with the house Subaru used to be here where
hill.
Siku hill. Unajua kale ka screen kana konga pale mbele.
Kale kadogo.
I wish they would have returned that. I used to love it, you know why, bro? You remember instead honestly
so these things that are being displayed here will be displayed there.
Not
like fuel economy.
The fuel economy, how the four-wheel drive system is. Because kushinda ukikuja hadi huku
iko hapa pia unaweza ipata.
Look, your eyes are already off the of the road. Unaona,
of course it means
lazima usimame.
Ndio maana uko hapo.
Ile ingine ukiwa na
mbogo uko hapo.
Ukiwa peke yako. You know, check export time ilikuwa hapa. It's when you see off road you just press the button in your. So those are the few things that I personally feel like I don't like, because and I think you have to get used to it, because most of the cars
this is where the tech
is going. Actually it's where it is right now. It's not where it's going. We're already there. Ukiangalia Chinese cars,
lakini mbogo unajua wanakupunguzia bei ya kununua Tesla screen. Kuna mshenzi tu angekuja tu anunue Tesla screen
na weke hapa
hata ila clarity kama hii.
Yes.
Hii iko na clarity nyingine noma.
Something else you notice na hii, which is clearly very interesting to me. Okay, na feel hiyo redundancy ya buttons wangeweka mahali. But
bwana John, niko na AC yangu hapo.
Uko na AC yako kwa nyumba unajibamba Weka bwana, sikia mzuri. Ile
AC na heated seats, unataka kuchoma
makalio.
I've never used heated seats.
You don't need it here.
You don't need it in this.
But hii ukiweka hapa sasa, ukiconnect hapa Android phone yako ama Apple CarPlay, instrument cluster line hizo infotainment screens zingine zinakuanga vertical.
So this one you get that phone feel.
Yes, you get a tablet feel. Yeah, which is very dope. Hapo mbele nikidrive in case nilime mtu, niko na airbag hapa mbele.
Kwa pedestrian airbag.
Inaitwa pedestrian, ndo nikikulima au kujipaka hapa ndani unabakia hapa nje kidogo. Yeah, that's literally what the airbag does.
Hit and run but with safety.
But the good thing is at least you're there to protect pedestrian asiumie.
Because honestly I personally have we did the eyesight.
Yes.
So before ugonge wewe mzee yenyewe pia wewe
iko na emergency brake.
Itakuwa na emergency brake pia wewe ni kuona uoni.
Yeah, you're right. Away from that dope stuff, kuna vitu hapa kama lane centering, iko hapa na LED tunakuonesha hapa, so ukiingia tunawaka hapa na inakubazia pia hapa kwa steering. which is dope. Niko hapa na 8 gear simulated CVT
inafanya isi sound car drone,
but hii gari iko smooth. Unajua tunaendeshanga Subaru Outback na ile FP25 ama EJ25 inapiga kelele ukikanyaga. Hii umesikia ikipiga kelele kweli Mr. Bobo?
They call it the drone noise.
Exactly, but this
like
one
it's a drone motor without any gears.
I love this one. The
It's smooth.
software, the tune is just dope.
Hii hata iwezi guza bump hiyo.
Sikia, hiyo nasikia katara.
For only 1.8.
It's nice. It's turbo.
Yeah, the punch is good. I'm curious to know how many
2.4 turbocharged.
man, you know, push to 60. Sikia. Of course, the only limiting factor here would be the CVT. I wish you guys were getting kuja na 6-speed manual. My lord.
Ingekuwa kali.
Sindio?
But I think unaweza pata in other markets. Because the WRX
Inakuja.
South Africa zilikujanga na manual instead of the CVT. I'm sure you can get a manual.
Ama ufanya tu conversion. Na delete kama upatu na delete vitu unaweka.
For the 2022 version.
Yeah. Why not? Kuna wasao story wanafanya hivyo.
Kuna Subaru iko na 1.8 turbo nyingine.
1.8 turbo. Naona niko Outback.
The Livogue.
Hata ni Vogue iko nayo. Hii platform
ina
inashare. Hata kuna Forester iko nayo pia.
Kuna 1.8
Na kuna 1.8 on the newer platform. Even the Forester has. Hii 1.8 nafikiri for Japanese market wamekata across the 3 major cars. So the Legacy, which is the Livogue technically, and then he, and then the Forester.
Competition hey gari, what's the competition you brought for this car? In the space it is 2022.
Ndio tunarudia.
Chakula tena wala.
Sawa, competition. Nafikiri Outback competition iko straightforward. Tuko na A6 All-Track.
All-Track, the one that we did the review, but that engine was something else.
Yeah, of course, that was very popular. Ile ni EA839.
The V6.
Yeah, the V6 turbocharged. Ile
Turbocharged.
same engine iko kwa SK5. Hiyo achana nayo.
Hiyo tusiongelele.
Siongelee. Tuko na V90 cross country.
V90 cross country.
Which is dope.
But we saw the V60, the new one. Do you
Yes.
think that...
No, the V60 is small.
No, you remember the V60 that we saw was huge. I think from 2020, 2019, V60 became a
No,
bit...
they just improved the size, but it's still small in
Still
comparison
smaller
to this.
comparison to this.
Yeah. So tunaongelea hizo gari kubwa kubwa. There's another Mercedes. There's a Mercedes
The
E-Class.
E-Class.
Inaitwa all terrain.
The station wagon.
Yeah, it's big,
Yeah, I've
so I
seen
think that
it.
will also fit into
I've
this.
seen it. I've
Which is
seen
dope,
it.
which is dope. Japanese kuna gari ingine kweli? From the
Japanese, I
Japanese
think
market.
in the Japanese market, Outback was the one that was able to get this kind of package and everything. The station wagon feel, the off-road package.
Yes.
I don't think there's other manufacturers in Japan that kind of did that.
Nah. So I think those are the few ones.
Those are
In
the
case
few.
you're buying ISO. But this one will serve a different purpose.
I can't wait to drive the V90, T5,
V90.
maybe or T6.
And it's a beast.
It's a beast. What's the average? 0 to 100? Yeah.
0 to 100. It should be a
Rated.
sub 10 seconds. It's not up. Even though it is...
I don't think there's anybody who buys this car
For 0 to
speed.
100.
who does 0 to 100.
Yeah, right.
Buy a WRX for that.
In case you want more power, buy the WRX. You're
Ama
right.
ukuja ununue hii.
Gani hiyo?
Akuja ununue hii atatoa.
Anunue hii alafu tupatie tufanye 0 to 100 to confirm.
Bas.
Kuna mchezo. Tufanye value for money.
Value for
Jamaa mazo
money.
stories za jaba. So let's talk about value for money, because this is a question that most of you are asking. So how much will this Subaru Legacy Outback set you back if you decide to go to Belafid Autos, Upper Karen Acres, just opposite the Waterfront Mall in Need to Bite? This car will set you back 5.5 million Kenya shillings. And I know you guys are like, where? Hata pia mimi niko hapo. But let's put it into perspective. If you're buying a 2018, 2019 Outback, it will set you back around 3.2, 3.3 million Kenya shillings. Now, if you count from 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, those are 4 years. Iterations in tax is a very significant figure. And I know the taxes on this car are not cheap, based with that fact. And being the first one that has been brought in Kenya, I am kind of curious to know how much Belafid paid duty for this car. But I want to believe that even if you were to buy a Forester, that is 2022 year of manufacture, it should be setting you back around the same amount or slightly more, maybe around 6 million Kenya shillings. So that this car provide value for money? Yes, absolutely yes. Being a 2022 unit and offering you all those new technological advancements in terms of safety, comfort, and even the driver dynamics, and giving you 16 kilometers on a liter fuel economy, because that has been the biggest complaint that people want to buy the Outback. Say, hiyo gari inakunywa sana. So right now, you have no excuse. You actually have the perfect, awesome, technologically advanced, comfortable, huge, practical Subaru Legacy Outback that money can buy today. I've been your host, Papa Skof Ibrahim Tolo himself. See you on the next one, and remember to share, comment, subscribe, because we are getting to 200k subs, and I'm happy to be your host and your guy doing it. Adios, muchachos.